So could you hear that? Squelch, squelch, squelch. This is a pretty wet ground. So it's a short shot. There's really nothing in the way. I've got a few different shot options that I can play, but on this one, I'm gonna show you just a nice way. If you really want to hit the lob shot, I'm gonna show you the things that you need to do to help you to play this shot better from the squelchy, wet, soggy ground. So first thing is we have to utilize the bounce of our club. So I'm going to use my 55 degree sand wedge, which has 9 degrees of bounce. So that's the most bounce I've got on my clubs. And the reason I want to do that is the last thing I need for this shot is for my leading edge to be coming down steeply and letting the leading edge contact the ground. Because if I do that, I'm going to have this happen, where the club just digs in and stays there, and I'm just going to hit the ball a few feet. I know we've all done that before. I've been guilty of it too. So what I really want to do when I play this shot is I really want to utilize the back of the club or the bounce of the club, and I want the back of the club hitting. So the bounce is on the club to stop the ball, to stop the club from digging in. It allows the club to continue to move. So if the back hits the ground, it's not going to dig in, it's going to slide through, which is going to give us the best possible result. So in combination with the bounce, I want to take my hands out of the shot. If I start flicking my wrists and being very handsy with this shot, I'm not going to be able to control the bounce of the club very well at all. So I really want to almost play this with stiff-wristed technique, which almost goes against the grain. People think, oh, you know, if we're going to pop it up and flop it, we've got to use a bit of hands. With this one, we really don't. So I'm going to try and utilize the bounce. As I said, I'll open the club face a little, and I'm going to keep my hands pretty neutral. But if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to have my hands more back to the right than I am in front. So traditionally it's, let's get the hands forward a little bit. Let's get that shaft leaning forward. But the more I do that, the more I'm exposing the leading edge to the wet grass. We don't want to do it. So if I'm going to err, I'm going to err back here a little bit, which helps me and gives me more bounce to work with. So even though this is a 9 degree bounce, by opening the club a little bit, and by having my hands behind, I'm turning a 9 into a 14 degree bounce club, which is nice to be able to do that. So from there, I just keep my wrists pretty much out of the shot, and the club should slide under the ball and pop the ball up, and we'll just see how we go with it. So the ball's come out, and that's popped up to about 2 feet. It did slightly dig in, but it dug in after the contact point. So I was able to keep the club moving until well after the contact point. And you can see from that camera there, the ball just popped up nicely, and that's rolled up to about 2 feet. So I would get out and practice this. I used to practice it off concrete. I'd get my club out and I would just keep working on it until I could get the ball popping up in the air. Every time I tried to manipulate, I would hit behind the ball or I'd hit the ball thin. So the more you can keep your hands out of the shot, the better control you've got of your bounce, the better the shot is going to be. Give it a go.